Galimera. Good morning. And today the broadcast is coming again from underneath the trestle, where the grapes are hanging down. And a little bit late this morning. I do apologise. It's been one of those. Yesterday, Jane and I, we were in Argosy. We were off to have. We had dinner with friends last night down in Argosy, which was really nice. Big shout out to Asa the chef at the Green Frog and all the staff there. Absolutely fantastic evening. We had a little wander around Argosy as well yesterday evening, just to see how things were down there. And I've got to be honest, it was pretty lively down there in Argosy last night. And also a big shout out to Flockus, who's moved his cafe to the other side of the road, opposite where the garage is, next door to Portocali, the little sort of enclosed garden restaurant come nightclub area. So it was all very, very pleasant. We also took a little look at Barrage on the way back, and also the other Greek clubs down there, and it all seemed to be one rule for one lot and another rule for another, which I'll go into in a little bit as we do the news. Right, okay, looking at the weather today then, it is another hot day here. Temperatures today 31 degrees Celsius, but it's going to feel like 33. That's what Amanda has told me. Thank you for that. Also, again, another fire warning from the local fire brigade here. Please be very careful about naked flames, etc. You can hear the crickets are singing already at this time of the morning. So again, it is still very hot. Jane is going to be guiding this afternoon doing turtles. So again, she's going to be busy on that later this afternoon. Right. Just to let you know then, food has also started today at Magdalena's. So if you're looking for a nice breakfast, make your way to see Dionys at Magdalena's. At the moment, I am not back to work at Magdalena's. We're allowing this weekend to go through. We're going to see how things calm down. All I know is that the police have been busy here at the moment. I'm not allowed to say too much because certain incidents have not yet been reported in the Greek press. And under the laws of Greek privacy, until it is reported by the police, because it is reported, you effectively can't talk about it. But let's just say one of our neighbours was obviously had the police come in and bust them and find them. Also as well, an organised trip, we shall say, was also shut down by the authorities as well. So again, the police are out. They're being very, very hot. And when it comes to entertainment at the moment, there's a lot of issues that have not really been made 100% clear as to where we stand. And Magdalena's, we are just erring on the side of caution at the moment because we don't want to find ourselves fined or in any legal bother. Right, so let's have a look at who's coming to the island today then. Again, it's still quite a busy day at the airport. We've got 3 flights in from Amsterdam, we've got 2 in from Athens, we've got 1 flight in from Switzerland, we have 3 flights in from Germany, we have 1 in from Hungary, 3 in from Italy, 2 in from Romania, and guess what, we've got 2 UK flights coming in today. We've got an EasyJet coming in at around about 12:45. And we also have a British Airways flight coming in this afternoon at 16:35. So the Brits are slowly coming, which is good news. Right, looking at the COVID stats for the last 24 hours, they are, to be honest, a little bit mixed at the moment. New infections are down, which is good, to 2,691 new infections across the country. When you consider it was 2,794 on the previous day, that is a kind of improvement. When it comes to new cases being identified into... These are the top results. Oh, hang on a minute. Stop a minute. Somebody's talking to me there. We've also had 11 new cases identified and checks into the country. That is up on the day before, where we had 7. Now, when it comes to cases actually in locations, Lefkada has had 3 new cases. Corfu has had 25. The prefecture of Kefalonia, they've had 3 new infections reported there within the last 24 hours. And unfortunately, Zakynthos has had another 6 cases reported here on the island. So that brings our total for the month of July at the moment up to 48 cases, which when you consider the month before in June, we were only 7 cases. And before that, in the month of May, we were 44 cases. We're actually gone higher than last May, than the May number. So again, we're keeping an eye on that because again, it's eating into the craziness of what is going on in regards to COVID. Anyway, at the moment, unfortunately, deaths are also up in Greece as well. Last time I reported to you 6 deaths. There's now been 14 new deaths within the last 24 hours. That brings the death toll now to 12,833 since the pandemic started. 96.4% of those people had underlying health problems or were over the age of 70. And once again, our condolences to those families that are involved. Moving on to critical cases. Now, interestingly, critical cases are still on the decline at the moment. Reported to you the other day, 132 critical cases. Well, that's now just dropped down to 123 new cases. 77 of those are male, 46 of those are female. Again, the average age of people in critical cases is 67 years of age. 83% of those have underlying health concerns, or they're over the age of 70. So there you go. That's the stats at the moment. So I think for the COVID numbers, it's kind of mixed at the moment here in Greece. But obviously, the Greek authorities are taking it very, very seriously. Now, going on to today's news. Now, faced with a surge in coronavirus infections, Greece on Friday announced new rules for open-air entertainment venues such as bars and nightclubs, stipulating that customers must hold proof that they have been vaccinated or recovered from COVID-19. Now, according to a joint ministerial decision, the venues must restrict capacity to 85% and only seated customers will be permitted. So you're not allowed to walk around or move about inside the venues. Anyway, the new rules kicked in across Greece on Friday. With open-air leisure and entertainment venues like restaurants, bars, cinemas and theatres having to post a sign at the door indicating their corona safety level. Now, the official signs will state whether the establishment is COVID-free, meaning it caters only to patrons who can produce an official certificate of full immunity, a mixed space in orange and blue, thereby also admitting unvaccinated individuals with a negative PCR rapid test taken within the last 42 or 48 hours respectively, and whether it has a fully vaccinated staff. The sign depicts a syringe and a green check mark. Anyway, the new rules are designed to give more freedom to people who have been vaccinated against COVID-19 and encourage others to get the shot, while also allowing business owners and managers in food and beverage industries, in tourism related sectors and in other areas of leisure and entertainment to choose the COVID-free option in exchange for a higher occupancy rate, or to serve both categories but provide less seating. Anyway, indoor venues, meanwhile, will only be allowed to operate as COVID-free spaces and will also enjoy a higher 85% occupancy rate. Bars, cafes and clubs, moreover, will not be allowed to serve standing guests, only seated tables. So now you can see the kind of problems that we're having at the moment in regards to the way that we run things. Again, we were still advised yesterday, reference live entertainment inside venues, and told no, we weren't allowed to do that. Although a date of the 21st of July has been bandied about, so maybe 21st of July, a bit more clarity will come in as to what we can actually do once we're inside our venue in the way of entertainment. So once again, those people, and for the entertainers that were looking forward to going back to work with us from yesterday, it's still on hold at the moment until we are 100% sure and that we're safe, that we're not likely to get a visit, or we're in some ways contravening any of the rules that seem to be changing all of the time. And again, we're obviously seeing this one rule for one set, another rule for another set. It's going to be interesting to see how this weekend pans out with events that have been going on here on the island. One thing that I have noticed is that anything that's cultural, i.e. if you're singing cantatas, you're singing Greek folk songs and things like that, you seem to be left very much alone. But when it comes to like music, tributes, that kind of cabaret style music, you can end up being a target. So I'm wondering if there's a little bit of xenophobia in music coming through there, that it's all right to be singing Greek folk songs but not all right to be singing My Way, etc. as well. And also when it comes down to karaoke, there's also again no clarity as to whether that is allowed, whether that is not allowed. And again, we just have to err on the side of safety in the fact that we don't incur any fines because things are not being made clear. And the only time things are being made clear is when they're coming through the door of your business and they put you in handcuffs and they take you away, and then you're up before the judge. So at the moment, we're erring still on the side of safety in regards to entertainment, and we're constantly reviewing what's going on. We're also looking at cases of other people who find themselves getting involved with the law and seeing what the fallout is from them, because obviously we'd rather learn from the mistakes of others than obviously create our own mistakes. So there you go. That's what's happening with the entertainment at the moment. As of Monday, Dennis and I are going to have more discussions about what's gone on over the weekend, and we'll see what will happen from Monday onwards. So we'll let this weekend get itself through and then just see what happens. Right, also interestingly, just announced this morning, Wizz Air announced the postponement of the opening of its new base at Cardiff Airport till the end of the month, from where it would fly to, among others, to Corfu and to Heraklion. Now, the low-cost carrier confirmed only yesterday that it will start flying from Cardiff on July the 30th, with routes to Corfu, Heraklion, Faro, Alicante, Palma, Larnaca and Tenerife. No mention of Zakynthos in the list that we received. Anyway, the announcement yesterday of the launch date of Wizz Air's new base in Cardiff came after the Welsh Government confirmed the end of the quarantine restrictions for fully vaccinated travellers returning from a trip from orange countries on the travel list. Now, Wizz Air UK CEO Oswin Jones said yesterday, we're excited to start flights on time for the summer holiday season. However, today the airline announced the delay in the start of operations of its base until summer of 2022. As a result, as he points out, of the ongoing COVID-19 restrictions and the ever-changing quarantine measures that apply throughout the United Kingdom and Europe. Now, in a statement, the airline said it is unfortunate that we had to make the difficult decision to postpone the opening of the new Cardiff base until summer 2022 to give our customers, employees and business partners the opportunity to give opportunity to confidence. During this difficult period, this has not been an easy decision, and we understand the frustration of our customers in South Wales. We apologise for the inconvenience this delay may have caused to our customers. We remain committed to opening our fourth base in the United Kingdom at Cardiff Airport next summer. Anyway, a Wizz Air spokesman noted that the airline operated 3 new bases and set up 60 new routes in the UK last year, despite ever-changing and inconsistent government travel regulations. Wizz Air remains true to its commitment to long-term growth in the UK. So again, at the moment, I'm not sure if anybody is affected by that at the moment, whether you have lost your flight coming over here. But anyway, a bit of a mixed message there. One minute it's like we're not opening our hub until next year, but we're going to start flying again from July the 30th from Cardiff. Although the routes that they give don't actually mention Zakynthos here at all on their routes. Only Corfu, Heraklion, Faros, Alicante, Palma, Larnaca and Tenerife. But again, we'll keep an eye on it. If anybody was booked to come with Wizz Air from Wales, just let us know what you've been told. It'd be interesting to see what your side of the story is. Anyway, big story here for the island at the moment is the Greek Minister of Civil Protection, Mr. Michalis Chrysochoidis. He visited Zakynthos yesterday together with the Chief of the Hellenic Police Force, Mr. Karamalakis, in order to check whether the measures for the non-spread of the coronavirus are being observed, especially in the areas of Laganas, but also for the performance of the police authorities and services here also. Now, upon his arrival in Zakynthos, Mr. Chrysochoidis visited the building of the regional unit of Zakynthos, where he met with police officers and then attended a meeting with local authorities to hear the problems concerning policing that they face. He said, we are visiting Zakynthos today with an aim of examining whether our decisions to satisfy the people of Zakynthos and to improve the performance of the police authorities and services, which we strengthened to 120 police officers, while last year we had only 17. He also stressed that it is our decision to prosecute for the prosecution of crime, the fight against organised crime, and the fight against drugs and the number of other acts of lawlessness and delinquency that has occurred on the island, especially in Laganas. He also went on to say, we have been here every day with our services. We will be present to improve the lives of residents of Zakynthos and the visitors. Zakynthos is one of the most beautiful places on the planet and is entitled to legality, freedom, and a good life for the people. He also said that the citizens of Zakynthos and the Minister of Civil Protection also stated that in the next period of operations will be done by the police authorities, but other services will also come to the island so that there is absolute order and tranquility. By that, I'm not exactly sure what it means. But what has been spoken about in meetings that I've heard of is that they're looking at the model in Mykonos, where Mykonos had a problem with organised crime. The police said that they are going to basically use the same programme that they used in Mykonos to sort out the problems with organised crime there, and obviously use those same measures here in Zakynthos. So we'll wait and see what transpires from that and how that will be implemented. Anyway, the minister then made a special reference to the area of Laganas, which has been particularly delinquent in years, stating that the operations are being carried out every day in Laganas. We will not allow it to become a pandemic spread centre. The services are fighting to avoid large gatherings which spread the coronavirus. So in some ways, it's more about the pandemic than it is about the crime. And again, I think there's lines blurring in there as well. Are we here to sort out the problems with crime, or are we here to sort out coronavirus and the pandemic? Anyway, finally, Mr. Chrysochoidis also said from the meeting with the local bodies, stating that the representatives of the residents of Zakynthos state that they are satisfied and that we will continue this effort until the end in order to fully restore legality on the island. I don't think anybody's got any problems about legality being restored on the island, but also it's a case of if a rule comes into place, everybody abides by it. People aren't trying to find shortcuts and ways round getting out of something, being clever with the legal side of things, where the rest of us who are following the rules and doing what we're supposed to do feel like we're kind of suckers because we are doing as we are told to do, while others just blatantly willy-nilly just go on their own sweet way and think that we're the idiots because we're not following the rules. So in some ways, I think we'll have to wait and see how it's all going to pan out and see what transpires from these new measures that come into place, and see if all it means is that the egalities go deeper underground so they're not detected, running silent, running deep, or whether the police really do get a grip on this and actually start to eradicate it. I don't think you'll ever fully eradicate it. All what will happen is the organised people will just change tack so that they just become more undetectable, more underground, and shielded by more protection. But we'll wait and see. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Anyway, interestingly then, it's nice to report that it's Austrian tourists and not British tourists. 2 Austrian tourists who were riding a quad bike in the area of Kerry basically drove into a ravine. Anyway, for some unknown reason, the driver lost control of the vehicle and drove into a ravine on a forest road. Immediately, 2 vehicles from the Zakynthos Fire Brigade with 4 men, and also the governor of the prefecture of that area, Mr. Chrysochoidis, they rushed to the spot in order to give assistance. Now, fortunately, they were both very, very lucky. The man and the woman did not receive any serious injuries. Only the woman was taken to the hospital in Zakynthos for examination because she complained of chest pains. So once again, please, if you're going out hiring these quad bikes, please just be very, very careful with them. They are not the safest of bikes to be riding. Just because they got 4 wheels doesn't make them safer than riding on a 2-wheeled scooter. And again, they can be a very dangerous bike to ride if you are not fully au fait with them and give them some proper instruction. All right, I'm not going to harp on about it, but please just be very, very careful. And finally, a nice little bit of happy news and something that I learned this morning, which I'd never been aware of. As part of the celebration of the 200th anniversary of the Greek Revolution of 1821, there's an exhibition being held at the floating naval battleship, which is called the Georgios Avros, with paintings of ships that participated in the revolution of 1821, which have been lent by the Milan Maritime Museum of Zakynthos to be displayed there until the 26th of the 7th of this year. So basically, if you are going to be in the Athens area, and I must point out that this exhibition is on the Georgios Avros, which is a modified Pisa-class armoured cruiser, which was built in Italy for the Royal Hellenic Navy, as it was called then, in the first part of the century. So it's like a World War I style battleship, all right? The ship served as the Greek flagship during most of the first part of the century, the 20th century, and to be honest, it looks absolutely impressive. It really does. It's a little bit like HMS Belfast in London. It's a proper full battleship that's been restored of an earlier period of like the 1900s through like to the First World War time. It is basically I'll say this again. It's tenderly referred to as the Babra Yorgis, or Papa George, which shows a little nickname that the Greeks had for the battleship. It looks absolutely fabulous. The battleship is located outside of Athens in the suburb of Paleo Ferrero, which is like a little port area. However, if you can't get to that location outside of Athens, then don't forget that we do have a maritime museum here on Zakynthos, the Milano Maritime Museum, which is located in Sillavi. Basically, go up the hill from the Arc Bar and bear to the right. There's signposts there where it is. It's well worth a look. It's been there for many, many years. The former DJ at Magdalena's, Nick, his family actually owned the museum. And it's well worth a look. If you're into the story of the Philadelphia, the US battleship that was involved in experimentations in visibility, there are bits of the battleship Philadelphia actually in that museum, because that battleship actually ended up being given to the Hellenic Navy at the time, and they've got a few bits from that vessel as well. Also, the story of the Perseus, the submarine that basically got mined between Zakynthos and Kefalonia, and the man who escaped from that disabled submarine, his full story is there as well. And it's well worth a look. If you've got a bit of spare time, one evening when it's a bit cooler, why not take a look up at the Maritime Museum in Sillaby, go and say hello to Nick and go and have a look. But the main thing for them is they're really pleased that paintings that they had of ships from the Battle of Navano, which was basically fought just off the coast of the Peloponnese, pictures that they had from there, well, obviously are being displayed at the moment at the Papas George outside of Athens on the battleship there. So again, good bit of news, nice bit of positive for Zakynthos as well. Right, let's have a quick look, see who's tuning in. I have seen some comments coming through as well. Alison Wharton is tuning in. Dave Matthews is tuning in. Larry Smith is tuning in as well. Karen Bush. Kelly Larkins says, do I need a negative test to sit in an open bar or restaurant? Not in an open bar or restaurant, you don't need a negative test. It's only if you're going into an enclosed or safe area, as they like to call them now. That's where you have to prove that you've been vaccinated or you've had a negative test. Once again, if you've come on holiday here, you will have been tested on arrival, maybe randomly tested, but you also would have had to have presented a test that you'd done before you'd left the UK to come on holiday. So that should stand. I think, to be honest, a lot of venues are still going to be finding their way as to how they're going to police this, all right? In regards, are they going to be overly zealous in policing because they don't want a €50,000 fine? Are they going to be, okay, fair enough, we've seen your app on your phone, we've seen your piece of paper, so as far as we're concerned, if we get booked, we can say, well, there's the proof that we were given. And obviously it's one of them things where it's a battle that could be fought out in a court. But anyway, yeah, you will need some form of test, all right? Again, if you're getting tests, etc., can I please ask for them to print the result on a piece of paper for you. It will make life so much easier, because it's better to show a piece of paper than it is to rely on app on a phone. You know, just for the safety of the venue that you're going into. Karen Bush is also watching as well. Derek and Bridget Cole over there in Cyprus are watching as well. Nice to have you tuning in. Sol Andy is also watching as well. Barbara Cocker is watching. Tracy Davis. Jerry Cole says, morning mate, back from my holiday in Malta to a hot Nottingham. Well, there you go, got the best of both worlds. How was your trip to Malta? I'm not sure whether you enjoyed your trip to Malta as much as you hoped to. I know they started changing rules as well. People were mid-flow in their holiday. But I'd be curious to know what it was like in Malta for you there. Jill Podson is also watching as well. The lovely Lauren is also tuning in. I'm not sure if you're over here yet or getting ready to come over. Also, Brian Darlington is tuning in as well. Nice to have you, Lee. Somebody says, not my cup of tea. I don't know what that's about. I'm just having a little rundown here. Shane Bowen says, good morning, Ginge. Thanks for a great show last night. Wishing you all for the following week. Thank you for that. Thank you, Shane, as well. I did actually have a little peek into the chat room just to see how things were going. Obviously, I couldn't come and join in because it would have been rude of me to be sat monitoring the chat room while I'm having dinner with friends. But thank you for the comments on the show. Just to remind you that show from last night is going to be repeated tonight. 9 p.m. Greek time, 7 p.m. UK time on beatsradio.co.uk, and I will be in the chat room this evening when that show is on, so I can come and talk to people. And again, thanks for that. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is the Northern Soul show as well on Beats Radio. That's at 7 p.m. Greek time here, 5 p.m. UK time on beatsradio.co.uk. And once again, stay tuned in to Beats Radio over the weekend. Lots of great shows on there, lots of great music, and a real great variation of music, as the lovely Shane Bauer will confirm. Let's have a look, see who else is tuning in with comments. Big shout out to Mike Glatley, nice to have you looking in. Emma Kate is tuning in. Also, let's have a look. I know there were comments, and it does annoy me sometimes that I don't get a chance to read the comments out for whatever reason. Julie White says, morning from a very sunny South Yorkshire. Loved our holiday. I was really pleased you came over, Julie. I'm just sorry that I didn't get to catch up with you in person, as it were. But I'm pleased you had a good holiday. Julie was staying at Planet Apartments over here in Zakynthos on holiday. So again, you can tell everybody just how easy it was to get here on your holiday, and how once you did get on your holiday, you still had a good time, despite some of the restrictions that are in place. And even the health minister has said these restrictions may seem ludicrous to some people, but they're a necessity in the fight against the COVID. Yeah, no dancing, no standing, no mingling in nightclubs, etc. So again, yeah, I just say, are you any more freer here than you are in the UK at the moment with some of the restrictions? Let's have a look. Anybody else got any comments? I'm just flicking through now. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bang that on the head. Here we go. Brian Darlington says, entertainment, e.g. tribute acts, is a massive part of people's holidays. Without that, people will cancel. Brian, I 100% agree with you, mate. It's all part of the psyche of having holidays. And this is why I'm saying as well that I feel sometimes there's a little bit of a two-tier system running here. If we were putting on Greek folk music with Greek dancers in the evening, we wouldn't have any issues and any bother. But because we like to have a bit of Amy Winehouse or a bit of Lady Gaga or Robbie Williams or stuff of that nature, then obviously we find that sometimes we just get unfairly pinged, where the others can just do their cultural stuff and just get on with it and not have any interference. I'd like it for everybody to be the same. I really would, because again, it's all about all the different markets who are here for different things, different wise, and this thing that cultural stuff seems to get allowed to carry on with no impedance does kind of annoy us greatly, trust me. Right, anybody else? Let's have a quick look. I'm going to leave it there. I think I've said enough for today. Can I say once again, thank you to all those people who are supporting the podcast. Also, those people supporting the broadcast as well on beatsradio.co.uk. Thank you for that as well. And Ben from Beats Radio says thank you. You'd be surprised at I'm not allowed to reveal the numbers of listeners we have, but the numbers of listeners we have would probably shock a lot of local radio stations. They probably haven't got anywhere near the amount of listenership that we have. So once again, thank you. And even here in Greece, the amount of listenership we have here in Greece, again, I'm not allowed to reveal numbers. Again, it staggers me. It really does. I feel really privileged to be able to do what I'm doing here, and also bring you information, let you know what's happening, what's going on, and thank you again for your support. Right, just got to say, that's it from me. I'll keep my ear to the ground. Jane's on cleaning duties at the moment, and I've got to get in there, or else otherwise I'm in trouble. It's cleaning the lounge, which I hate cleaning the lounge. So anyway, I better crack on. I will catch you later, and I've got a feeling I know who said this. Dave Matthews says, I'm fishing this afternoon just for a change. I dream of fishing, mate. You want to come here, do a bit of fishing offshore in one of the big boats? You'd enjoy that as well. Right, that's it from me. I'll catch you later. You have a good time, and I'll keep my ear to the ground. Ta-ra.